Hello.
Hi, hi
So,
Shalendra. What's happening?
hi. Well, nothing's happening. I mean, rains are happening. So the weather's kind of one of
Just
those.
making it worse. No, the need to
Really?
cuddle is just even worse lately.
I know. But like,
In the
on one
nights.
hand, there is a need to cuddle, and then on the other hand, there's also it just kind of pushes you to
What do you think is the correlation? Is it the
the cold.
pleasantness?
So
It's like, how
I figured
barish
it
hua
out.
bhajiya chahiye. Why is it like,
No,
okay,
so
barish ho raha hai, I want to hold someone.
I'll tell you. Every time the weather kind of also, I guess it's about the contrast also in terms of we live in very hot places, but every time it gets
Mm,
wet and cold, uh, there is
mm,
this need to kind of feel cocoony, cocooned and like warm, and a
mm.
person is always a good. I mean, on
Mm.
one hand, so I
Yeah.
agree there's cuddles, and on the other hand, I love just working with a vibrator, putting it up my ass and like jerking off, like even that feels great. So you know
देखो बारिश हो रही है.
yeah, so like this
हाँ,
or
हाँ,
that, like bhajia or chai, like who knows,
हाँ.
to each their own.
Yeah,
So
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. So is it like dank and cold there?
It is. Well, because Pune, anyways, is a little
Gets
cold during the
yeah, yeah,
winters,
yeah.
and
And
because it's
monsoons it
technically at the.
does. Yeah, like monsoon it
Oh
does
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
very
It's
cold.
elevated. Like even today, I had my dad over, and he had to sit with like a blanket
Oh,
throughout the day,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
little
Chaddar,
yeah, and
yeah.
it is a little snug.
Mm.
It's not like he was just being an old person. It was
Mm-hmm.
genuinely cold. But yeah, also in Pune, it's like, there's a thing that I did not notice much in Bombay. It used to not happen a lot, but it's like bright sun,
Mm.
and in a flash of a second, like a solar eclipse, almost a cloud just covers the sun.
Huh.
So suddenly for like 30 seconds it's like dark, like, oh, it's about to rain, and
Mm.
suddenly that cloud moves and boom, it's sunny again.
Wow.
So it really confuses you, like, oh, cuddle, but okay, fuck, no cuddling, it's very hot. Like, I can't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of one of those days where it's very, very quiet and
I
nice
to even get
around my
irritated if I
house.
go on Grinder and all, and suddenly people start saying, "Nah, such cuddly weather," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know that, but like, why are you saying
कर क्या सकते हैं इसके बारे में, like,
yeah,
yeah.
wait,
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going out for a dinner after ages today. Like
yeah.
so it feels so good.
Mhm.
I can't wait to kind of step out and just meet people.
I
It's
I I had a friend over yesterday.
mm,
I cooked. We chilled. We
nice.
spoke. I have to say it was very awkward for me because I
Why?
almost feel like I've forgotten how to like have a
Oh my god.
conversation.
Oh my god.
Like, I did not know what's a good point, like what story to say, how to
Mm.
like the semantics of conversation have just broken down in my head.
Yeah,
I did not know.
I alternate between blabbering and silence, like
Yeah.
because I
Even with the podcast lately, I feel like, oh my god, I don't know what to say. Like, I never have that feeling,
yeah.
but lately I've been having that feeling just because I feel like there have been no new experiences in the last
Mm.
2 years. So I just feel like
Fuck.
everything happened before that, and now I don't know what to say
Mm.
on anything. Although, of course, I can always still keep talking. But it's funny that I even have the thought that, Farhad, what will you say? Because I can fucking talk all the time.
Mm.
You know that. But yeah, it's just been difficult lately. Like, how do I even phone calls with friends? Like, okay,
Mm.
work calls actually I've got used to because that's
Mm.
the kind of calls we have regularly. But even phone calls with friends have sort of like like there's like some sort of like what were you talking about, what
Yeah.
yeah, so it's been a little awkward.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, no.
Hota
I
hai,
was about to
hota
say,
hai,
but it's,
hota hai beta, hota
yeah,
hai.
like
Huh.
yeah. But
Yeah,
in
this
any
is like the
case,
Titanic story. uh,
what? What's the Titanic
the
story?
Titanic, didn't I said it in the last episode, right? The boy who got an erection while watching Titanic. Okay, fuck it, I'll save it for some other time. I'll save it for some other
Okay.
time.
All right. Cool. So
Yeah.
let's get into it. In terms of news, have you heard anything that you want to share? Uh,
Hmm.
All right. So
Not
I
really. The Victoria's Secret thing is the only
yeah.
thing in conversation right now.
Yeah,
So I wanted
okay,
to pick
so
your brain on that. Yeah.
okay, so I'll tell you. The reason why I thought it was a very interesting thing. One I'm really for it because um one is it's amazing that there's diversity. That's great. Also, it's amazing that you know there aren't unrealistic body standards with, and this is like the bastion of unrealistic body standards with
Yeah.
Victoria's Secret. But on my feed today, I saw one of my not friends but acquaintances sort of putting up a story, and this is what he said. It's come to a point where they feel like you cannot call a morbidly obese person fat. They feel like anyone who's conventionally hot can't be considered attractive. So everything has to be about making a change. I almost messaged him, and because I wanted to engage and have a conversation, because first and foremost, no one's saying anything about morbidly obese over here. This controversy about Victoria's Secret started when there were questions about why not slightly more realistic bodies. I mean, there are realistic bodies that are fit. Okay, why stick thin? Why this like insane sort of shape? Secondly, why not trans models? Why and the response from Victoria's Secret was because it disturbs the fantasy, and that is where the controversy began. So I wanted to sort of engage with him, but I refrained because my point was like he's not like a frothing at the mouth raging right wing. He's a very sweet boy, who has very progressive ideals and models and thoughts. But I just refrained from it because I felt like it's not my place to engage in this because it's unsolicited opinion. Yeah, like that's what I feel. What
My
about you?
only issue with, and it's not even an issue, but my hiccup with this, it's not the first time a brand is doing this. I wish a brand sort of took time to first embellish what was wrong, because a lot of times what happens with brands like this is, oh, Victoria's Secret is no longer going to do this, so now they are going to have plus size trans, Priyanka Chopra. First of all, what?
Why not? But no, why not?
No, it's a personal thing. I just generally don't like I can't stand her even in interviews and stuff. I'm like, no, this is too weird. But that's a personal thing. But what I'm trying to say is, I wish it was, because when it's the shift is immediate, I always feel like the brand is just instantly not only trying to obviously look woke, but also
but it's not instant.
then
It's taken time. Like they literally took almost a year off. Like
but when the news comes out to you, Victoria's Secret is no longer going to do this, but they're going to do this instead.
But that's
which is
what
great.
It's not instant. It's it's 1 year in the making. Like they canceled the Victoria's Secret show 2 year, like year and a half in advance. So like there have been no Victoria's Secret shows for 2 years now. So they've taken that much time to arrive at this. So I don't see any other way in which, I mean, what else would you have wanted it to do?
I just see, even Fair and Lovely is a good example. Like Fair and Lovely, for years, people tell them, hey, this is problematic, this is problematic. And then they come out of the cave and suddenly, you know what? We are going to be glow and lovely. You know what I mean? Which I feel like at no point does the brand acknowledge, hey, we were wrong to do that for so long. And this is the kind of impact we had. I know Victoria has,
but okay, realistically, when a brand does that, do you know what happens to the stocks? And because of the stocks, do you know what happens? No, one second. Do you know what happens to millions of jobs then? That's the issue. Like literally, let me give you a reality check. Fair and Lovely pays for literally, and this is inside story. Fair and Lovely pays for almost 80% of the salaries in Hindustan Unilever because it is what it is. Now, when you come out and say, oh, I'm guilty and this and that, that's just,
Hmm.
you are setting yourself up for a PR nightmare.
Maybe I'm being an idealist to think that. It's just,
Yeah.
again, my two bits are, I sometimes feel like a brand, without wanting to maybe do that, I feel like it looks a little like tokenism, or it looks a little like,
But tokenism is a
Uh,
one-time thing. But here, and I'm not using Fair and Lovely as an example. I'm
Hmm.
using, um,
as
Victoria's
in the
Secret.
blatantly showing that, look, how do okay, maybe I don't know if I'm going to do justice to this, but I'm going to try, right? I'm saying suddenly when the statement is, oh, we are going to use more people of color, there's a trans model, I still feel like they see the world like that, oh, this is, oh, who a person of color, okay, pick this one, okay, trans model, take this one, you know what I mean? They still see it like that. So when I read the news, I feel like they still have those kind of, their vision is very like myopic in that sense. I'm reading too much into it, you get what I mean, right?
Yeah, sure. Because
And this is
see,
really just a year, it must have gone on for a year, this discussion or whatever. But I'm saying when I read Faye's post, right? Not everybody knows the ongoings or what has been happening at Victoria's Secret, only the ones. But when you read it, even I did not know, oh, this was a change in the making or something. I read it as a post, and I can rightly say that a lot of people just saw it as a piece of news for the first time. And I feel like that kind of myopic vision, which is, oh, we were doing this wrong, so you know what, we've chosen a trans model, we've chosen an athlete, we've chosen a person of color, we've chosen a plus size person. I feel like that kind of vision is still a little problematic.
But then what?
Oh,
like,
you see,
so here's the thing. I feel like when, and it's good to kind of put brands, on loudspeaker and say, I have a problem. But then what else are we expecting then? What else are we expecting as action? Because I mean, brands can talk, but when they
You're
talk,
right.
then we will say that, oh, so you're all talk and actually no action.
Which is why there's no way I'm not applauding this move. I'm very down for it and all of that. I'm just saying a slight, which is why I use the word hiccup. Like sometimes I feel like it reinforces us to see the world in a world where we are trying to break out of binaries and be genderless and all of those things. I feel like,
but you
this
do
kind
that out of a diverse representation only, no?
Sure. Okay, so
how
yeah,
else would
it
you
is
do
one
that?
step for mankind. I totally, and I really
Yeah.
applaud all of it and all. I just felt like sometimes it's like, okay, great. You had a roster of, okay, a few check boxes you had to hit, and you found people who fit those check boxes, and now that's what you're going to do, which is great. But I'm just saying that check boxes, I don't have a solution for that, but I couldn't help but see it like that sometimes.
My solution is that, if this is just a PR sort of, blip where, oh, so you do this show and make sure that this is a success. And then when it comes to your larger collaterals, then, your, for example, what's being seen in the stores is still that old world, Victoria's Secret stick thin sort of representation, that I'll have a problem with.
Of
That
course.
is what, then
In
you
fact,
were
I don't
doing
even
this
know,
just to, like then you were doing this just to kind of, allay the rabid
Sure,
sort of,
and
criticism.
I'd not even know this. Maybe you can educate me on this, but I don't know if Victoria's Secret, maybe they had a plus sized in clothing, like in whatever the clothing or lingerie or whatever they make. Did they have a plus size section?
No, they
See,
have.
now see,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good place to start,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Where,
like
or I saw a
putting
lot
your
of, there
money
was
where the
this-
mouth is.
there was a little wave or a little debate I saw in with if you know Adhavarya, Aishwarya Subramaniam, and which I was actually very tuned into that particular debate, which was, why are plus size clothes more expensive than regular clothes?
Yeah.
Because it's technically not like more material, so more money, and it's a little demeaning.
Yeah.
So I'm coming from there. Like,
Absolutely.
I like that when that debate happens, suddenly when a few brands started announcing online, hey, you know what, from now on our plus size, all our clothing is priced
Yeah.
evenly,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Now see, that is a better change to me than
Yeah.
just, you know,
Just
trying to be
this
like, oh,
PR
ye hum
stunt.
aisa announce karenge, so we know we'll get this many shares and this many this, and we'll be a very woke. I'm not saying, again, I'm not at any point saying that,
No,
oh,
I get your point of view that
yeah, yeah,
if it's just for like this one show,
yeah.
then it's not enough.
Sure, and I
It
can even
has to
imagine
trickle
maybe they'll
down.
change the format. Great, they'll change the format of
Hopefully.
the future shows. It might be even more fun to watch, you know, with different colors, different bodies,
Yeah.
all of that. Amazing. But I can't help but feel that this was a little marketing
Sure.
ahead somewhere.
Yeah.
Was like, you know what, we need to be
Let's
with the times.
let's
So
silence everyone. Yeah.
let's get with the times,
Got it.
basically.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
cool. All
Healthy.
right. Yeah. So let's take a quick break and then we'll get back to our main topic for
Yeah.
the week. All right. We are back and we're in the spirit of Pride again. We decided why not shed light on something that not very often is brought to the fore, which is, so we obviously talk about the community. We talk about our struggles, our victories, our celebrations. But I think a very important part of it, and we've spoken about it, is the support system, the the people who kind of cheer us on, and people who supported us. And let's obviously, from personal interactions and personal experiences, let's put it out there for everyone what we have experienced, because I think there's I don't know if there's a lesson there, but I think there is definitely a something uplifting there, in terms of you don't just have this from the community, this chosen family. You also have it in terms of the kind of work friends and work colleagues that you will.
I'm waiting for you. You're forgetting a very important one, Shreyatra.
Please go ahead.
We always joke about it.
What?
Therapist.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my
so
God.
why don't we start with that? Like, I think why don't you start?
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I start with a very dank note?
Yes.
I'm alive because of my therapist. I sometimes say it just straight up. I'm alive today because of my therapist. I know, and I don't mean to be sensational, or I don't mean to be like an alarmist, but I'm saying I'm physically sitting here talking to you, and not posthumously, because I decided to go to therapy. And thank God, again, I feel like now every time you say that you're in therapy, you also have to announce that, oh, because I am privileged to go to therapy or whatever. But I'm fucking glad. He's the biggest reason why I'm here today. He's the biggest reason I can sort of deduce how to go about in this world, not even through a day, how to get through a day sometimes. If this conversation is going to be about our support systems and people who have helped us out, which is why, sometimes when we suggest not over the podcast, but in general in life, when we suggest that, hey, have you considered therapy, the weight of it, I really feel, it's become a very normal thing to ask a person to seek help, but the weight of like, hey, you might really process and deal with so many things that you're going through if you just do that. So number one, I have to start with my therapist, and he's really like made life bearable. He's made everything so much more bearable and doable, and the burn is less of everything. So yeah, I'd start with my therapist.
And I mean, I'll chime in. I don't want to say, oh, me too, but I'll chime in and almost say that it takes a lot for, when it comes to a large part of the queer experience is panic and anxiety, or preempting the panic and anxiety. A large part of our lives. Our lives are all about preempting anxiety and preempting what our next breakdown is going to be. With the therapist in my life, it's no longer about a cure. It's been about prevention, and it's been about a long distance prevention. It's not even about, oh, so I'm preventing this to, from happening next week or coming week. It's about me allaying that feeling to a point where I start feeling like I'm living a healthy life. And it's just, I think
that, and just opening up, right? Even like the fact that I was just, for people who are listening, between our two sections, I was telling Shanetro how I'm feeling so dysmorphic today, and I'm literally struggling today. I hate looking at my face even right now. But the fact that now I can just talk about it and move the fuck on, and just do it, like that took a good year or two to reach there, because if you think about it, so much of anxiety and depression and all these things that we go through is because you bottle these feelings up. You don't find it easy, which is why one of the most cliched things, but it's a good cliche, which is, hey, I'm all ears, you can talk to me if you're going through shit. Because people somewhere realize that it becomes incredibly difficult to open up when you're anxious, when you're depressed, when you're like going through all these things. So if anything, therapy at least does that, where you just can open up, a bit. You can talk, you realize, you start finding the words, to like kind of convey what you're feeling or going through. And that alone is sometimes so soothing, and or gives you the ability to move the fuck on again, just giving words to what you're feeling.
Absolutely. I
So
mean,
that's why I felt like, when we decided today we're going to talk about people, the first thing that flashed in my head was therapist. And then I was like, wait, what apart from therapist? I don't, no, I have, we'll get to friends and family and everything, but like, I had to start with therapist there.
I mean, that's a good start. For me, there's a certain kind of a friend, and that's been, maybe it's just me, but there's a certain kind of friend who is not constantly looking to kind of burrow into your issues and solve them. There's this kind of friend that knows how to make their presence felt in a way where they are there, but they are not intrusive. They are not intrusive, and that's a very special kind of friend. It's I'm blessed to have.
Honestly, you put it perfectly, because the friends I'm thinking of to bring up in this, they are all what you just said. Like, they're not intrusive, but they're there, and not like constantly there. But I know, like, a bat signal, if I flash in the sky, boom, they're here.
Exactly.
Those are the ones to keep.
And a large, another thing that I've had the privilege of having is friends who are willing to learn, are willing to change, are willing to listen and adapt. Because of course there are friends who feel, who learn how to be a queer ally from media sources, and that's not enough. But then there are friends, and I'm really privileged to have those kind of friends who learn from conversations and ask whether is this okay to say, is this okay from this point of view, even to the point of making suggestions in terms of when we talk about life and in general. The kind of suggestions that could be made are so naturally okay, and not triggering or not offensive or not not a far cry from my reality, that it just warms me, because they've taken the time to understand what's okay and what's not okay. For example, I don't think I'll ever be a father. I ever want to be a father. I never want to have a child, and I have a pet, and I want to have more pets, and that's me. There's never been conversations about that part of family, that timber, that tone of a family life in the future. Why? Because they know this. So there's no point of repeating this. There's no point of because they know that this is just
a non-conversation.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even cross your mind.
And that's what, like, knowing what a non-conversation is and knowing what is an okay conversation is a I wouldn't say it's a skill. It's a virtue be able to listen and learn.
You know, the thing is, speaking of non-conversation, I have like 4-5 select people in my life who I call them my kidney. Okay, if you want a kidney, yeah, you know, I might I'll give it to you. I try to once think about what is the one thing that is common, or what makes them like such good friends to me. And honestly, just because we said non-conversation, the one common thread I found between all of them, and this is very trivial, but these are 5 people I never have small talk with. You know,
Yes,
I
that's
have
such an
zero
important
small talk.
point.
I have
Yeah.
zero small
There's
talk
no
with these people.
obligation.
There's zero small talk. These are people who I might not meet for like a year, maybe, but boom, the moment we are in the same room, it's like nothing. There was no distance, there was no
Yeah.
time, there was no gap, nothing. It just you pick up where you left off from. And I felt like those things were like great litmus tests or indicators for me to know that, you know, yeah, these are the 5 people I feel that with, and
Yeah.
these things are common between. They might be vastly different people, but I've always felt like, oh, the moment there's no like never any small talk. And I the older I get, it's one of my biggest peeves, small talk, which is why right
Yeah.
now I feel like I'm struggling in a corporate work environment, only because the amount of small talk, you know, like,
Aur
hi, what's up,
batao.
what are your plans for the weekend, what are you
Aur
doing, what
batao.
else, what have you been up. I can't. And that's why my patience also for gay guys has gone down so much, because on Grinder is
It
the
is.
it's
It's
the
small
world
talk
of
till you fuck.
it's
Like.
yeah. It's now too, it's literally even in length, it's become small talk.
Yeah.
Hi, what's up? What are you doing? Where are you? And boom, I that alone turns
Yeah.
me off. Like, fuck it, I can't. Like, I don't know what radical conversation I'm expecting right from the get-go, but they happen. They do happen. I have to say, when someone
Yeah.
makes the effort to start with instead of
Hmm.
a hi, even something like as different as, I don't know, you know, like, huh.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Like I love it when someone's read my
Hmm.
profile and then
With
responded to
question
something from my
pertaining to
profile.
it. Yeah,
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 question
yeah,
or a
yeah,
comment, or so it means that there is a little bit of
yeah,
investment
yeah,
there. Like, you know, in terms of,
yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah, but you know,
for
even that
example,
backfires. And I know, okay, you know how
yeah,
I'm gonna say it, okay? And I'm gonna say it because even
hmm,
you're in that WhatsApp group, you know, that WhatsApp group that we are in, the new
yeah, yeah,
one,
yeah,
with
yeah,
the other queer
yeah, yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
and
yeah,
all.
yeah,
I just very someone happened to talk about gay BCD, and I said thank you so
yeah,
much. And
yeah,
suddenly I got I not I kind of I don't want to be cocky and preempted this, but suddenly I got a lot of WhatsApp messages on the side from random people because they saw my number is there in that
but
group,
I'm okay with that.
responded.
You know, I'll
So
be honest,
no,
I'm
one
okay with that.
second, one second. The conversation started. Hi Farad, love your podcast, love you and Shanitro. Again, I love it,
Hmm,
right? Amazing. Thank you so much and all of that.
hmm.
So where are you from? What, you know, and then I'm like, first of all, that's the
You know
first.
where this is going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, that's the first. Where are you from and all? It's not like you won't know that about
Hmm,
me, that I'm not that I'm saying, oh, find out on the internet and all, but I suddenly start feeling, okay, slippery slope coming up, you know.
hmm,
And then more often than not, okay, I'd be like, oh, I just shifted to Pune and stuff, so single or taken and this.
hmm.
And then I'm like, no, yeah, like, you know, it kind of was the दूध में एक लींबू का drop गिर गया types, like, you know, like, like, no.
So I had a very, and since you're talking about friends, okay,
Hmm.
I'm going to veer a little off the
Sure, do
trajectory,
it.
but I had a very interesting experience. I have a, and I will call him a friend.
Hmm.
We sort of have sex and, you know, and all of that. But we chat up, and he listens to this podcast, and he's a very like astute sort of a person. Like he understands conversations and whatnot. So in the course of the conversation, we were chatting, and we came to a point of how some people find me intimidating, my presence intimidating, and it's been my life's effort to kind of undo that. And I sometimes I don't know how to undo that, but I'm working towards it, and I think I'm being successful. And one of the things he said was that you know, you always have a boundary. You always have an ivory wall up, ivory tower. Just you live in your ivory tower, which is okay. But what you preach, practice that. And I was first very offended. I said, what do you mean? I always practice what I preach. And he said, no. So hear me out. You say, and you're okay with that. That's what you want, right? Like this idea of Grindr and Tinder being a space where whether you meet someone for sex or not, you can forge friendships. But forging a friendship can't happen only when you're having sex, only the weekend when you're having sex, only, let's say, a couple of days before and after, and then there is silence. There has to be, I'm not saying regular sort of conversations, but a little consistency, because that's friendship. I mean, a little bit of consistency is required, especially because we need to get to know each other before we really cement the friendship. And I was like, fuck, that's true. And I'm guilty of that. And that's what, and so the reason I kind of,
and the fact that it kind of registered and you accepted that means it kind of is indicative of the importance of this person in some way.
And that's where what my comment to what you were saying was that why does everyone drop the the gauntlet as soon as you figure that there is no scope for a relationship or there's no scope for sex, and take it forward. Now, there can be an interesting conversation there. There can be an interesting friendship there. And who knows, like, friends
but
can fuck.
See,
that's
the thing. I feel like you're calling me out, and rightly, because I am on the other side. These 4-5 people that I talk about are friends I made a decade ago. I have not made any new friends, who like I would like again. Oh, this is my best friend, and like I have I'd say 1 or 2 cases, but like I just feel like I am one of those people now. To even I just feel like in terms of a friendship support system, I feel like I'm at full capacity. So anytime I feel someone who's trying to like be a friend, I always somehow mistake that as no, you're being go back, little ye aage ka roka seats mein milega, balcony you know what I mean?
Like you're not that important. I have more. You know what? This is again something that I'm guilty of. Sometimes I have this cocky sort of voice in my head that says, do you really think you're that important in my life? I have more important people in my life.
I do that all the time.
Like I have friends who are more important than you. So don't try and be. And then like I've learned to curb that voice.
I have to learn to understand that I might be a dick, and that I should stop saying that, oh, I'm such a nice human being. You know what I mean? Not again, I'm not causing anyone harm or anything. But again, I just sort of focus on that one bit which I said, which is a lot of these people do genuinely nice things to me, new people in my life, who try to actually want to get to know me or want to like, I remember there was this one boy, fuck buddy, on and off. And I remember one time when he was coming over, I wasn't too well. So but until then we were just fucking and all of that. But like the day I was not well, he decided to be a little extra like, hey, can I fix you some soup? Hey, can I? And he was being very sweet. You know what I mean? Like, can I? But I was very suddenly like irritated by that, like, what? You're being a little extra, When I got up to go get water, I'll get water, chill now. And I was really out of it. I was very weak. I was really like a little out of it. Like I knew I needed bed rest and shit. But basically that the fact that he even offered to get me water irritated me. You know what I meant? Like in that moment, I felt like it was justified. But now in retrospect, I feel like I do this same thing that you said, which is there's an ivory wall. And beyond that, I have my 4 or 5 people who are allowed to hurt me, who are my best friends, who I'm there for life. Like maybe these are the 5 people who'll flash in front of my eyes if I'm about to die, basically, But uske aage, no one can come now. Like, that's it. This is the circle, and outside everything falls outside this circle now. So don't try to like come into the circle. And I don't know why I'm so fucking defensive or like, again, so shut about this one particular thing. And sometimes, again, coming back to a conversation, which is people who empower us and people like building our own support systems. I feel like this kind of attitude of mine sometimes is extremely damaging to me building newer support
Yeah.
systems.
Yeah.
And
Same.
and what happens because of that is sometimes I feel like I'm a burden on my existing friends.
Yeah.
You know, the ones who I actually share with,
Yeah.
I feel like they've heard my problems so many times. Like
Yeah.
how many times, you know what I mean? I start feeling, so I stop kind of telling them stuff because I feel, Arey yaar, again I'm going through
And
the
then it
same
stays
shit.
within.
And I don't want to say this to new people, of course. I don't know why I'm saying this. I fucking say everything to everyone, but
But I
I
don't
still
like
feel like
I know
the
exactly what you're
quality
saying.
changes. The quality of how I share changes when
Yeah.
it's with someone I really value. And I don't even, like right now on Clubhouse, right? I have no qualms talking openly about whatever, my, whether it's my mental health, whether it's my issues, whatever, right? Because I know that's my target audience of people like me, because I'm openly vocal about
Hmm.
everything that I find flawed or within me. I'm okay with saying that, just in the hopes that everyone else also starts feeling okay that they're damaged and fractured and flawed and mommy issues and this and that, whatever. So that's been the larger effort, but sometimes I feel like it can be lonely at the top, you know. It gets a little lonely after a while when even sharing doesn't help, basically.
Hmm.
uh,
So I mean, yeah, like what, one thing that you said was this idea of uh, just not letting newer people in. And one of the things I felt was that, and I'm again a big part of my process has been, and I think that a part of it has been again a boon because I've also moved around a lot. I have a friend circle from Calcutta. And that's a very like potent friend circle from Calcutta. Um, I have a friend circle from
college
my college,
yeah.
and then I have a friend circle from work in Bombay itself. And but if I didn't have these disparate friend circles
Mhm.
who don't interact with each other, and I'll do everything in my power to kind of not let them merge.
Keep it like that.
Yeah, yeah. But because they are so disparate, they also let me kind of deconstruct and separate and compartmentalize those different aspects of my life, because
Mhm.
there are things that that my college friends know about, which has informed my struggles and my life in a way that only they would know. And
Mhm.
I love that part of me being, them being there for that part of me, and
Mhm.
like and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
So I feel like this experience of having this I wouldn't say influx, but having these sort of groups of friends. And of course, at our, like, once you're 32,
Mhm.
you are set for life with your friends, like, more often than not.
Mhm.
That's your friend circle for life. And if there are new people coming in, there is a lot that will
But
be
I have to
required.
quickly, even though I fully agree with you, what you just said,
Hmm.
like, oh, after a certain age, I just said, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I found my 4, 5 people. That's it. Like, it's not going to go beyond that. But sometimes I feel I'm wrong to do that.
I
I
know.
sometimes I just feel like, yeah, no, I cannot have this. Oh, this is it for the rest of my life and all of that, because people come and go. Like
Yeah, what
we
if
are.
they die?
I hope not. But
Yeah.
I can't help but like again. I think of that scene from Waking Ants, right? We all are ants, and then we bounce. While walking into these lines, we just keep running into other ants, and then we just have like these brief interactions, and then sometimes you carry that ant along with you or whatever the fuck. But like, I really feel like, yeah, I'm always, wow, I feel like I'm contradicting myself now. I'm open to like someone being there for me,
Hmm.
and for me to actually feel like, wow, okay, this is a friend I'll actively call and
Hmm.
actively want to know what's happening in their life, if they're okay and all of that. And I have those beyond my 4, 5 people. I have those kind of people also who I
Hmm.
actively this like. Yeah, I it's something what you just said. I really have had to battle that a lot at 36. By the time I've reached 36, that hey, you can't like really just keep relying on the same friends again and again, because things change, times change, circumstances change, and not that I'm saying that friendships change again, but sometimes you just have to like, it's nicer to have a fresher set of years every now and then, you know, like
So, I mean, this brings me to for me, my other sort of, support system has been, and I'm going to use a very heavy word, but people who have shared trauma, like similar trauma and shared trauma, and who understand what it's like to have been at the receiving end of something similar. I think that's why things like Alcoholics Anonymous and stuff works.
Support groups,
support groups, and this is almost like a mini sort of miniature version of that, where exactly you are sometimes, what you said, that sometimes you feel like what you're going to tell your friends is going to be too much of a burden. And somehow with this person, it isn't, because we are at the same plane. And I think that's another kind of support system that's just I can't even put into words. And more often than not, these people in my life, they don't know how much of a
it's so funny you say that, because I'm literally thinking of my 3 best friends, right? One, my ultimate best friend, terrible relationship with his mother, so we get along, right? We both are like BoJack Horsemen in our lives, like that. My second best friend lost his mom at a very young age, so there's suddenly this, I tell him mommy issues, and then he has not had a mother for a majority of his life, so we gel because of the how disparate that is, like how this. And my third best friend loves her mother. She is like super cross, what's the word, like super tight with her mom, so it's always like, what, you really feel like that? And I'm like,
it's like different perspectives.
It's always so these are 3 such different scenarios of all 3 people. But like you said, right, like even though our trauma is with one person is shared, and with the other 2 people it's not the same at all, but that's what also makes it work. Or we gelled at some point because we were like, oh my god, like we are so different, but we find amusing to get another perspective in our lives. Do you have would you say at work and stuff, again, like how would you say, do you find the support system easily at work?
I've been incredibly,
or you've built that for yourself?
No, so I've been very, very fortunate to have had the kind of support that I get at work, and I have a couple of people who've turned into like lifelong friends, and I'm not going to take their names; they get embarrassed when I take their names. But
have they said that?
Yeah. So
you can plug in their podcasts if you want.
No, so they are not. No, I mean, but I mean, one of them is of course Varun, and and he's been like an amazing support system. But just near and around him, there are so many people who are lifelong friends. Like we've been through a lot, not just from a work point of view, but we've seen each other. What happens at work, especially when you're a tight-knit sort of, and I want to preface this by saying a lot of things that I'll say will sound very speaking from like a pedestal, but this is like part of a leadership, and that's just hear me out. It's part of a leadership that's weathered a lot of storms together. And what happens with leadership is you can't show vulnerability. I mean, you can, but like you can't show vulnerability to the point that it affects the larger teams negatively. So these traumas or whatever we go through, it stays within us. We've gone through personal crises where it could be, it's devastating. Like we've gone through our bodies crushing, our minds sort of completely collapsing, us being at rock bottom, different people at different times, but we've been there for each other with this one thought that if we are not there, who will? Like, because there's so much time we are spending at work. So this is that chosen family, and it's kind of been that way for me. And like tonight, I'm going to a couple of friends, and all of them are work friends. So it's not a work party. It's just that we've become very, very tight, very close, because we've gone through these experiences. We are very similar in terms of our where we are in our phases in time, in terms of our life and lifestyle and all of that. So work has definitely, obviously my current work, like, you know, which is glitching, which is advertising. That's where I found a very blissful sort of support system, very, very active
You
support
said
system.
something that made me realize something so important. Why it's important to have a support system at work is because with friends, if you break, if you've shattered in front of your friends, the fact that they're your friends and they let you be and help you like get out of it is what makes your friends friends. But at work, it's kind of the tone is always like, hey, but work is separate from personal life, and you're supposed to perform even
Yeah.
though you might be like going through something horrific in your personal life. So it's so important to have that at work, right? Because
Yeah.
when someone at work kind of understands that, hey, no, this person is not in a good frame of mind or in a good
Yeah.
space, they need to like, you know, take it easy, or like, no, I'm not saying leave or anything, like take a leave
Yeah.
or even that, of course, but like when you have that kind of freedom where even at work you can be a little like, hey, I'm a little broken right now, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
might affect my performance. And when people understand that, because for years we've heard the, oh, personal life, professional life separate, and you're supposed to put on a face at work, and you're supposed to like, you know, not
That's
let it.
not like, I mean,
Yeah,
let's move on from
yeah,
that. It's
exactly.
high, because that honestly has been one of the reasons why I needed therapy, because this idea of perfection and being always like, I didn't know what, again, this is going to sound very, very um like, people will say kya samajhta hai khud ko, but I didn't know that I was allowed to make mistakes. I didn't realize that I'm human. I was I used to force myself to perform at a superhuman level where I make zero mistakes. And
Yeah,
now now I look back and see
for no
the
fault
kind
of
of,
your own, because jobs will do that. In the past,
yeah,
I'm sure you had experiences.
no,
Yeah.
even my current job, it's just that no one forced me to do it. But when I see the expectation, when someone doesn't say outright that, listen, it's okay if we've made a mistake, if we realize that amongst ourselves that we are doing this to each other, in terms of like, if we don't put it out there that it's all right to make mistakes, we will keep becoming these people. And we looked at each other and we said, fuck, we're all becoming these people who are these, you know, untouchable, unapproachable, um archetypes that no one can live up to. Even we, if we try ourselves, can live up to. And that's when we realized that we started taking stands against clients. We gave up big ticket clients. We've given up big ticket clients. And that's when we started making a change, because some, like when a client, fortunately or unfortunately, this is not a job where a life is dependent on you. I'm not a doctor. Someone's heart is not beating or not beating because of me. I'm in advertising, boss. Ek collateral jayega, nahi jayega. Okay, you'll lose a little bit of money, sure. Maybe not even that, because, you know, a buffer is always built in. But the kind of fake urgency that used to kind of stare us in the face, we used to fall prey to that. And we used to be like, oh my god, so if I don't do this, then, you know, the client is blah blah blah.
I've been in advertising. It's a
And
toxic as fuck.
that's
business,
what.
Yeah.
And the reason I keep saying this, that I revere this set of people so much, is because this set of people together with me and along, like, to me and with me, we took a decision that no, we are not going to do this. We will tell a client that what kya hoga.
Yeah.
For example, when COVID hit, especially the second round, there were people with families affected, and there were clients who were saying, I need this on this particular day. We said, you know what, this is inhuman, and we are saying it right now, this is inhuman.
Mm.
We can't do this because we don't have that kind of a backup sort of built up. That's not how an agency works. Pehle to matlab, ad agencies, we are not a like a big mainline agency. We are a fresh sort of like we have our our obviously digital does not pay the kind of money to kind of build these this buffer. So what are you expecting us to do? How are you expecting us to do things? Paise bhi nahi doge, ye bhi chahte ho, wo bhi chahte ho. And then people started backing up. Then this became a conversation that, oh fuck yeah, like I think we can move timelines, we can move deadlines. And so
for me, when that moment happened, I had a very good friend, and I was copywriting, he was the art director, and we always were paired together on a lot of pitches, projects, everything. We were like paired. He was getting married. Okay. And he was getting married on a Sunday. Yeah. And Friday night, he was on a leave. He had gone on leave because he's fucking getting married. He was 2 weeks honeymoon ginke. He was on leave. Friday night, we found out we have a pitch and all of that. And suddenly one idea that we had thought of on another pitch, was like, oh my God, that would be perfect for this. We won't have to do anything else. And we've kind of already done some of the work. But now the thing is, all the files are on this guy's computer, and he can do justice to this. And my boss actually called him up on Saturday. Like, I know this, you're on leave and stuff, but this is like the pitch and we have to, and all. And my friend actually showed up on Sunday. He's getting married in the evening. He showed up just to give the files and all and everything. But obviously it wasn't just that. What can we do? Can we do this? Can you brief this person how to create this effect and all of that? I'm not kidding. I was sitting at my desk and I was looking at him, and he was, because the haldi and all had happened, his color was like entirely, haldi. He was little yellowish, jaundice, peely. And I was just looking at him and I was like, wow, okay, I need to think of how to get out of advertising. I remember that's the first time that coin dropped in my head. Like, what a toxic fucking environment. Like this. And this is one example, right? There are tons of these Friday night pitch hai Monday ko.
I mean, that though, like, let's not even get into. And this is something I've actually started I've started becoming very vocal about this. And I kind of get a lot of flack from my peers in the industry. I've started saying this very clearly, that if we as an industry don't adapt to becoming less burdensome and less crazy, we will have no workforce. Because the generations that are coming in, they don't give a flying fuck. They don't, it's not, they're not like us. We've grown up thinking, oh, so till 30 though it's okay to not have any life. Like personal life to uske baad aa jayega na, theek hai. Work life balance to 30 ke baad aata hai. We were like that. This
and spoiler alert, even after 30 it doesn't come.
But that's where things have changed, where this generation's like, fuck this, tu mere ko chutiya bana raha hai, I'm going to मैं काट लूंगा यहाँ से. I will go and settle in another industry, at another job. This is not even about agency, it's about also an industry.
I know, and we may be straying, but quickly, one of the things that has happened is, when we were a few years ago, not like hamare zamane mein, but a few years ago, if you got a job, you held on to it. Nowadays, that's not the norm anymore. People are okay, 6 months, 1 year, I'm out, bye, fuck this shit. And the next place, 6 months, 1 year, it's not something that comes up in job. Why did you only work 1 year here and there? So I feel like, and honestly, I realized very late, but I was one of those, every job I've been on for 2, 3 years, 3, 4 years at least, my first job was 5 years alone, and
9 years.
Oh my God. And I realized something, which was that people who actually quit and bounce and keep doing every year they actually have higher salaries than me now, because they
constantly keep getting
it's a smaller margin. And then suddenly I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I being so not loyal? It's not about loyalty.
But what is it paying me? Like, how is it paying me back?
It kind of made me quickly realize, if I'm feeling complacent, I need to move. I can't keep, because how will I find a new job and where will I? It kind of helped me snap out of complacency, at least on every job.
So I mean, work the people at work who understand your
So
people who
important.
your peers who you've been through. So been through a lot with. So yeah. What
Yeah.
about you? What other
I've never
anything in
had
terms of teachers, anything in terms of any other support system that you want to call out?
myself.
I mean, wo
I
to is
feel at some
always.
point. Yeah, no, little. You know that famous Snoop Dogg video, no? Where he gets an award and he's like, I'd like to thank myself and my this and my me
Yeah.
and me. And I feel like I really do give myself credit a little for just being stuck in this body and kind of managing to make it so far. And just pulling myself through every situation so far, like maybe even bigger than my therapist, right? Like, because I've had to do the work, I've had to fucking constantly goad myself, get out of bed, do it, pay the bills, all of that. So again, I don't want to boil it or crystallize it to a cliche, but it's so fucking vital to be your own support system first, before anybody else can. Because I feel like, again, if you're not your biggest support system, then you will always kind of struggle to find the authentic friends that we talk about, or kind of find a good support system outside. Basically, it's like how they say you can't be happy in a relationship if you're not happy within, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like
I mean,
that, basically. Like,
no, completely agree. There's like nothing that's wrong about it
yeah,
at all.
but I know
Because
you said
that's
teachers, and
yes.
I thought of teachers. I thought of family. Yeah, family in terms of like, are we also talking about financial support systems? My
No, I mean,
brother.
let's go one
Yeah.
by one. Like,
Yeah. My
if
brother's been
do
a
you
huge.
have a teacher sort of who's a support system? No,
I've never. I'm
I've
not
been
in
very
touch.
fortunate. I've been very fortunate to have uh, just like, and this is when I was at SIMC particularly. I will give credit to a lot of professors who, I mean, I studied sociology in Xavier, so in my undergrad. So as a result of that, every theory. So as a result of that, all the professors were woke. So I was, it was lovely to have that kind of cocoon of protection and empowerment, and it wasn't a pity protection. But I will take a second to talk about two professors who've so there's a professor called Malti Rao who was at SIMC, who was my HOD, and a professor called Ruchi Jaggi. I mean, I think no, you don't. Sorry, but she's a director at SIMC now. These two people have been instru fucking mental in, and being in my the crafting of
Shaping,
let's say, even the shape, even the smallest iota of strength that I have. Because those 2 years at SIMC were tumultuous for me. The first year was great, and then the second year, as soon, like, literally I was 3 days into college, like 3 days back, like I was back on campus, and then my mom passed away, and then I had to go back and then finish all of that, and then the rest of the next 2 semesters I had to figure a way to kind of keep going on. And these professors sort of created a way for me to do that, where I would keep doing projects. Come to Bombay and do projects, come to, anyone who would come, like, obviously,
knowing
in
that you
fair
had
ways,
these personal issues going on.
And I needed to kind of,
okay.
So I don't know if someone would be allowed to kind of go and work somewhere for so many days at an end. I obviously had a lot of promises to keep, where I despite that, I had to make sure that every single assignment would be on time, every single thing that every single presentation I would have to show up, shit like that. So it was because of those two people, and I'm in touch with the two of them even today, and they're I wouldn't say they're integral parts of my life, but I just cannot, like, I cannot think of a life without what my life would have been without these two people. And until date, not once have the two of them ever had a conversation about my sexuality.
Mm.
It was just this
By the by,
blind
assumed.
support,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
like explicit and like implicit support. Like,
Mm.
we don't need to know why we are supporting you.
Mm.
We don't need to discuss why we are supporting you.
Mm.
We are supporting you. That's it.
That's
And it's, yeah, that's
I don't know. I not that my teachers are not supportive. They loved me and shit, but it's again, I just never had that kind of a skew with them where,
hmm.
oh, will they accept me about my sexuality? Or we never
Mm-hmm.
had those
Yeah.
conversations where my teachers deeply, deeply loved me. And
Mm.
like, yeah, when you're growing up, that is so fucking vital because again, it shapes who you are as an individual over time.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you be who you are, it helps you be as you are, and all of those things. So yeah, I can imagine how important it is to have teachers and all. Should we even broach family, or we've discussed that enough in other episodes
I
to
mean,
know
we
that?
have. I mean,
Yeah,
see, there
yeah,
is the immediate family, and then
yeah.
there is extended family.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, this support kind of comes from extended family,
Mm-hmm.
and cousins and
Mm-hmm.
masis and mommies and
Mm-hmm.
mamas and all that. So, have you faced that? Have from
Not
extended
active
family?
support, but I feel like a little nod is all I've got, and that
Hmm.
also was very
Matters.
sweet. You know,
Yeah.
like for example, weddings, and my plus one is usually my best friend who's straight. Okay, but the fact that they always find a moment to take me on the side and, is this your new boyfriend?
Hmm.
You know, now again, I don't know if that, but the fact that I've reached an age where
Got
they
it.
just know that about me, and they're just inquisitive, like, is this the new
Hmm.
guy? You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
in not like a very gossipy way also, I'm saying it like that, but they are all of them are excited to know, like,
Hmm.
are you seeing someone, are you
Hmm.
this and
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I know that there's that kind of a
Hmm.
shred of support there, you know.
Got it.
Even though with my family, with my immediate family, I might have to dance around eggshells still. That, oh my god, like, why would I, we discussed this, right? Why would I
Hmm.
introduce my lover, sorry, that was in a clubhouse room, we were talking about introducing lovers to parents, and that
Hmm.
time I was like, oh my god, I would never do that to my lover until I knew that this person is going to be concrete in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because why otherwise put them in this dramatic situation?
Hmm.
But yeah, I feel like, yeah, my cousins and all have been a little, in whatever little way, they've been a little
Hmm.
understanding of my situation and sexuality in that sense.
Hmm. So I have, like, my the paternal side of my family is like a very tight knit family, and then I have this maternal side, which is um like a joint family of 60 plus members, and we live in one house, like, and so when I was in Calcutta,
Wait,
um
60 plus people
yeah,
live
like,
in
it's
one?
in I mean, it's not
Oh.
like one flat, like,
Okay,
it's,
okay.
yeah.
I
So
imagine that house in Piku, you know, that little Kolkata house,
so
and
this is
60
like
people living there.
so it's actually, it's that the house has been featured in quite a few of these
Hmm.
mags. It's one of
Hmm.
those like old houses
Got
where
it.
everyone has their own privacy there. Everyone
Hmm.
has their own units.
Got
It's
it.
not
Got
like
it.
we live
Huh.
like there is everyone has their own
Huh.
flat almost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but what I want to say is um two things. One is, there is this, our peers, most of the cousins, and
Hmm.
most of the cousins who've sort of moved away
Hmm.
from Calcutta, or
Hmm.
are doing something completely by themselves. They are the
Hmm.
ones who are a lot more woke than the
Hmm.
others, and
Hmm.
in them I found like great friends,
Hmm.
great,
Hmm.
I wouldn't even say allies, just friends,
Hmm.
because
Hmm. Hmm.
it just doesn't matter
Hmm.
who I fuck, who I kiss. It just doesn't matter.
Hmm. Hmm.
The other thing I would like to say is, it used to be, I had built up this story of because I guess that's what happens when you kind of are really striving for self-dependence. Sometimes you unknowingly sort of snip and cut a part of your life, and
Hmm.
to justify that, there is a story in your head that almost brands it as negative. So
Hmm.
I used to think for the longest time, oh, so this part of my life, this part of my family, I'm sure when they meet me, they'll have like 20 things to say.
Hmm.
They will have this and that, and I had the the most massive amount of anxiety that I was carrying when I was um, 2 years back. There was a cousin of mine who was getting married, and he was getting married in Goa, and I was going there, and I would be meeting a lot of my family after 2 years, not even 2 years, about 3 years. So it would be a long time after which they would be meeting me, and I had built up the story that everyone would have something like, they would be whispering behind my back, and then I was there, and everyone was trying in their own way to say that no one was saying it exactly that way because they possibly didn't have the words, but trying in their way to say that whatever you're doing, and obviously I had like sequin jackets, and like I was wearing heels and shit like that. So whatever you're doing, it's really really amazing. Your mom would be proud of you and things like that. And it was like code for you being gay and out there is really cool. And I was like, fuck, this narrative was just in my head. I'm not saying they're supportive, I'm just saying that sometimes just what you were saying, just a nod is
enough.
good, is enough, because I'm not looking for support from them. I'm not
exactly
so even a nod is good enough.
Okay, I guess I want to sort of, if we are veering towards the end, I want to see, support systems are not things that we actively build, right? They happen, and over time they happen, and you realize, oh, okay, this is my support system, right? But do you have any advice for, like, because again, we are a part of a community where it's not easy to like make friends. It's not easy, as in it's easy, but like, again, if you're talking about like a kidney donor friends, like it's not easy. Do you have any advice? Like
every piece of advice I'll give will possibly be like really shitty advice, but I'll give it anyway. Don't play all your cards at one go, like when it comes to your friends.
Wow, I was kind of gonna suggest the opposite, but go on.
Like I like judge your waters. Like I would like I prefer going through life, and this is again very personal point, is a very personal point of view. I prefer going through life by being aware of my surroundings. And how are you aware? You you let the person discover you also. Slowly, gradually reveal things, because like it's just like they close up coach. And as a result of that, and I don't know whether it's a thing of power play or what it is, but I feel like playing all your cards at one go, showing all your cards, just for people who are good and will be your allies, it's great. But for people who won't, it will hurt you, and you will end up feeling like, fuck, why did I even do that? So if it has to be, you will discover that person eventually, like slowly, gradually, as you unravel and reveal and show your true self, that person will stick around, as opposed to but what's your advice?
No, my thing would be, without again sounding like a cliche, not be yourself, but at least be aware of who you are. And when you're aware, okay, and you put that out there of who you are, this is the kind of funny I am, this is the kind of moody I am, this is the kind of whatever you are. If you put it out there, and if someone consumes that in its entirety, I feel like that person can be a possible part of a support system. Like, is a good person to add, like, who, and what you said, I was with you until you said that you might get hurt if you play all your cards, if you wear your heart on your sleeve. You might get hurt, but obviously I'm not wearing my heart on my sleeve so to appease or validation or anything, right? I'm not doing it for that. This is who I am, this is how I am. And I've noticed that some of my nicest friends now are people who did not actually like me in the start, but at some point they felt like, what, Farhad, I actually did not like you in the start, but now I love you. When that happens, there's a stronger bond somehow with those people. Like last night I was talking about this girl who I actually worked with for a while, and we used to fight a lot at work. I did not like how she used to do work. She did not like the way I would like want work, and we would never get see eye to eye. And years, we literally worked together for a year or two, and then she quit. She got a new job, but because she was still friends with all with this, we would still go out and all of that. And one day, just very randomly at someone's birthday party, we just like, I don't know, I wanted to talk about a moment, but it's illegal. But basically, we just shared, we went to the powder room and we had a moment, let's just put it like that. And suddenly I realized, wow, I'm very fond of her, and she suddenly was very like, why the fuck did we not get along? And today, like, I'm not kidding, like, I literally, she's always in my thoughts. She's moved to the UK and stuff, but like, you know what I mean? Like that, when that kind of full, like flipping the omelette is done perfectly, where you are like, wow, okay, we did not like each other, now we like each other. It's like a stronger bond just because of that. So that, in that sense, I was like, always be who you are, the way you are, and being aware. Of course, don't be a dick, because that's not a good way to find a support system. Then you'll only have dickish people in your support system who'll give you shit fucking advice and who will fucking just make you more miserable than you need to be.
True.
But I've always felt like, so somewhere it's the opposite of your this, but I feel that it's also valid this, that be whatever you want to be, but when a person soaks you in, or like
then let
sees you in like stereoscopic, like 360 consumes you, like, okay,
then
yes,
let it go.
This person has this also, this is his issues, but still, okay, he's a good friend to have, then have that person as a friend. It's very important. Oof, I got a dry throat.
All right,
that's it.
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back with our recommendations. All right, we're back. And what are you recommending this week, Farhad?
Okay, so I have recommended video games in the past, but sometimes I felt like people might not actually do that because a lot of people don't have consoles. So this time, if you have a laptop, all you need is a laptop. There's a company called Playdead Games. That's the name of the company. But they have two games. One is called Limbo. And one is called Inside. I don't know if you've heard of Limbo.
You've spoken about Inside.
Inside, have I?
Yeah. Like go on. I think I've heard.
They are very small-sized PC games. They are available for the Mac too. Oh my God. First of all, they're different games. They're entirely different games. But somehow the protagonist is always a semi-dead child. And I don't mean to be morbid, but it's very dark, but they are great puzzle games. So Limbo and Inside, these are two games, if you can get your hands on, if you just like, they're a great way to get into gaming even, like, and they're very simple, just cursor key kind. I'm not even telling you one of those games where pura QWERTY, GHI, F1, F2. No, you literally just need your cursor keys and your space bar. And they are exceptionally, even philosophically, spiritually, like very concepts of life and death kind of questioning games. And they're both made by the same company. So Limbo and Inside, these two games.
All right. So what I want to recommend, again, this is like our last recommendation for the Pride Month, like my last recommendation for the Pride Month. I have to talk about by far the most like seminal play around queer rights that I've read ever, which is Angels in America. And honestly, I want to recommend not just the play. If you can buy it, read it. It's one of the best plays ever written. By Tony Kushner. And I would recommend the mini series that HBO made in 2005.
Is it on Hotstar?
It is on Hotstar, and it is a marvel. It is a marvel, and what a cast! Like Meryl Streep, Al Pacino, Emma Thompson. It's just like star-studded, but every performance rivaling the other. It is a masterpiece of, like, in terms of an adaptation. So watch it. It's one of the most visually sumptuous things that you will watch. It's also one of the deepest sort of commentaries made on the HIV sort of piece out there, the HIV struggles of people in under Thatcherism and Reagan era, and a large part of it still is very, very relevant to what we are in the lives we live, that we are leading and living. So yeah, Angels in America, the play and the
I had it on
miniseries.
VCD back then.
Yeah.
When it had come out, it came out years ago.
Yeah.
And I loved it so much when I saw it, but surprisingly, I never saw it again. Like, even though like it's one of those things I deeply cherish in my memories, like, wow, that was amazing. Like, that was such great TV, like great viewing because of course HBO. But yeah, it's that's why I asked if it's on Hotstar. It's always a good time to rewatch.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's,
and it's a day's worth. You won't even less
totally
than a day.
It's just 2 episodes.
hours?
So yeah,
exactly.
it's so
Amazing.
that's it from us. Once again, happy Pride to everyone. And what we'll do is we'll continue these conversations and we'll continue having guests on our show, because I've gotten amazingly supportive messages about how each of the the guest spots were very, very deep and the conversations were amazing. So thank you for that. And yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed this particular episode. I can't wait for it to be out. It was great. Amazing. Thanks, Shanetro. I'll see you.
Thank you, Farhad. See you.
And
see you, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.